The massive Nazca Lines have remained unharmed to this day. No one has ever fully explained the significance of these lines. What do these lines mean? Anything to do with aliens? How old are they? Today we will explore the mystery behind the ancient Nazca Lines, so stay tuned until the end. The Nazca Lines are geoglyphs that stretches over 80 kilometers or 50 miles between the towns of Nazca and Palpa on the Pampas de Yumana, about 400 kilometers south of Lima, or nearly 250 miles. It is paralleled by the main PE1S, Pan America Sur. The majority of the designs are concentrated in a 10 by 4 kilometer rectangle south of the hamlet of San Miguel de las Pascana. The most notable geoglyphs are visible in this area. There are over 800 straight lines, 300 geometric figures, and 70 animal and plant designs, also known as biomorphs. Some straight lines extend for up to 30 miles, while biomorphs range in length from 50 to 1,200 feet, as large as the Empire State Building. They include spiders, hummingbirds, monkeys, lizards, pelicans, and even a killer whale. Plants, trees, flowers, and strangely shaped fantastic figures are also depicted. Geometric motifs such as wavy lines, triangles, spirals, and rectangles are also depicted. Some of the Nazca Lines form shapes that are best seen from the air, at around 500 meters, though they can also be seen from the surrounding foothills and other high places. The shapes are typically formed from a single continuous line. The largest are approximately 370 meters, that's about 400 yards in length. The lines have mostly been preserved naturally due to their isolation and the plateau's dry, windless, and stable climate. Extremely rare weather changes may temporarily alter the overall designs. As of 2012, the lines were said to be deteriorating due to an influx of squatters living on the lands. They were designated in 1994 as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. What are these lines? Geoglyphs are drawings on the ground created by removing rocks and earth to create a negative image. The desert's rocks have oxidized and weathered to a deep rust color, and when the top 12 to 15 inches of rock are removed, a light-colored, high-contrasting sand is exposed. Because there's so little rain, wind, and erosion, the exposed designs have remained largely intact for 500 to 2,000 years. Scientists believe that the majority of the lines were created by the Nazca people, who flourished from around AD 1 to 700. Certain areas of the Pampa resemble a well-used chalkboard, with lines overlapping other lines, and designs cut through with straight lines of both ancient and more modern origin. The Nazca people were an ancient, prehistoric culture that was successful in bringing underground water to the surface for irrigation by using engineering techniques. Some theories about the line's purpose connect them to the need for water. Cahuachi, a ceremonial site overlooking some of the lines, is one of their largest settlements. It has more than 40 mounds, including adobe pyramids. A Peruvian archaeologist, Toribio Mejia Zespa, was the first to conduct a systematic study of the lines in 1926. However, because the lines are nearly impossible to identify from ground level, they were only brought to public attention in the 1930s by pilots flying commercial planes over Peru. On June 22, 1941, one day after the winter solstice, American professor Paul Cossack investigated and found himself at the foot of a line. Cossack looked up from his work at the end of a long day of studying the lines to catch the sunset in direct alignment with the line. Cossack referred to the 310 square mile stretch of high desert as the world's largest astronomy book. Cossack was followed by the German Maria Reich, known as the Lady of the Lines. Reich studied the lines for 40 years and fought diligently for her theories on their astronomical and calendrical significance. She received a National Geographic grant in 1974 for her work. Reich fought alone to protect the site. She even lived in a small house near the desert to protect the lines from careless visitors. There are some theories that have clarified these lines, though not completely, but somehow. The line's purpose is still unknown to researchers and remains a matter of conjecture because the ancient Nazca culture was prehistoric. No written records were left behind. One theory holds that they were connected to the heavens, with some of the lines representing constellations in the night sky. Another theory is that the lines are used in pilgrimage, with people walking across them to reach sacred sites like Cahuachi and its adobe pyramids. Another theory is that the lines are linked with water, which is essential to life but difficult to obtain in the desert, and may have played a role in water-based rituals. In the absence of a firm archaeological conclusion, a number of fringe theories have emerged, such as the notion that the Nazca people used balloons to observe the lines from above, something for which no archaeological evidence exists. Until the 1970s, when a group of American researchers arrived in Peru to study the glyphs, the Cossack-Reich astronomy theories held true. This new wave of research began to poke holes in the archaeoastronomy view of the lines, not to mention the radical theories about aliens and ancient astronauts in the 1960s. John Reinhard, a National Geographic explorer in residence, approached the lines with a multidisciplinary approach. It appears likely that most of the lines did not point to anything on the geographical or celestial horizon, but rather led to places where rituals were performed to obtain water and crop fertility. Reinhard wrote in his book, The Nazca Lines, a new perspective on their origin and meanings. Former National Geographic grantee Anthony Avini agrees that their findings clearly demonstrated that straight lines and trapezoids are related to water. However, it is not used to find water, but rather in connection with rituals. The trapezoids are large open spaces where people can come in and out. The ritual was most likely associated with the ancient need to propitiate or pay a debt to the gods, most likely to request water. Reinhard points out that spiral designs and themes have been discovered at other ancient Peruvian sites. Animal symbolism is common throughout the Andes and can be found in the biomorphs drawn on the Nazca Plain. Spiders are thought to be a sign of rain. Hummingbirds are associated with fertility, and monkeys are found in the Amazon, an area with an abundance of water. No single evaluation proves a theory about the lines, says Reinhard, but the combination of archaeology, ethnohistory, and anthropology builds a strong case. Add new technological research to the mix, and there's no doubt that the world's understanding of the Nazca Lines will continue to evolve. Whatever it was, the global disaster of the mid-6th century was too much for the Nazcans. On top of the damage caused by earthquakes and massive floods, they had survived 1,000 years by using their skill, technical knowledge, and powers of observation to build a rich and complex society in one of the most hostile environments on the planet. But they could not survive this. Their settlements were abandoned and their culture vanished. They vanished, leaving only their enigmatic images in the desert to perplex and fascinate those who came after them. This is all we know about these lines. The research is still on. If anything is published, we'll notify you.